Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the picture that I'm using. You all remember. Now, it's Fudge. I'm going to start by working on the top of the picture. Now, fortuitously, I have a couple of stop lines. There's one here and one there. One here and one there. It's all right. I'm going to show you in a minute. We have one here and one here. These are, if you like, stop lines so that I can work within that space, knowing that if I stop there, I won't get a hard line that I don't want in the picture. So it's a great help when you're trying to work in this quite loosely. If you've got somewhere you can stop and take your breath and do the next bit. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Right, so of course you never have the right brush out, do you? Right. What I'm going to do is wet the paper up here with clean water so that it's moist and everything will run quite nicely for me. And I'll be able to contain what I'm doing within that area because of that. And because the colors I'm using are lifting colors, even if they go where I don't want them to, I'll be able to take them out again. So one of the things you eventually learn about when you're using watercolors is you get staining colors and non-staining colors, and you get opaque colors and transparent colors, and the whole world goes zing, and you think, how am I ever going to cope with this? But the thing is to pick up a brush and paint. Right, so that's what I'm going to do with that. So I better make a few colors. Now, one of the things a photograph does is make very dark areas, which are not as dark as that in real life. So if I was here, really, though those areas wouldn't be quite as dark as they are. I'd be able to see more of the colors. And certainly this area down here wouldn't be as black as it looks there. And even here, I've done it as a sort of brown, so that you can actually see some color in it. But I want to get quite a dark green mix there. And clean that. Shows how much paint stays in the pot. All right. So if I'd gone from there to the yellow to make the green, I would have put blue all over the yellow, which doesn't bother me, but it might bother you. So, right. And the yellow I used was Aureolin, which is this yellow here. In fact, I'm just going to dive in because life's too short. Chances of me wanting the neat Aureolin before this painting is finished are a bit slight, I think. I might want them for these, but we can come to that. Right. So I've got a paint mixed there, which I can play with. You know, I can add other colors to it, but I've got a basic mix there, which is going to work for me. So I'm picking up the clean water, and I'm going to put on. Now I'm not soaking it; I am wetting it. I'll put the line on here, and I'm going up to that line because it's quite a nice shape. It's a nice line and it's a nice shape. So that curve is going to, just go out here a bit. So that if it wants to get excited, it can. Right. If you tilt the paper, you can usually see if it's wet in all areas or not. Right, okay, so that's the clean brush. So if I pick up this, now, if you look at that, there are various darks and lights in that. So I'm not going to just put a dark wash on. I'm going to introduce the dark in patches so that it sort of resembles just hope I can mix the same colour when I come to do the next bit. So this is quite dark area. Oh, I didn't want it there. Right. What that has done is to dry, and that was quite a firm edge there, wasn't it? So I'll take this out. Got a bit too excited. So that's quite a straight edge there. This goes up to the line. It's drying out already as it is. Don't mind that that's covered there because that line has got shadow on it. Right, I think I'm right. So I'm going to add in a few other colors now. So if I pick up that Aureolin, even though I mixed blue in with it, it's giving me quite a nice green, which is what I want. So I dress in a bit of those colors. It's definitely here. Some nice leaf shapes there. They don't have to be what's in the picture. They can be my interpretation of what's in the picture. As it dries out, I want to also put in some purple. So just remember, I'm practicing, right? Because this is how we're going to take it when we go. What I'm looking for, where's Hilary gone? Right, okay, Hilary. What I'm looking for, Hilary, is less to carry when we go out painting. So what's that? This is a sweatband for sports, but yeah. I'm using it to try to control the moisture.
What did you start with when you started the painting? Which bit did you do first? Ah, you did the goblin thing first.
The goblin thing is my little elf. Okay. And his name is Fudge.
Okay.
Yeah, I started with him. Yes. And then the next step, and that's all I managed in the first instant. Yes, there are purple flowers in the and there's some here, and they can be anywhere. You know, I'm not confined to what's in the picture. If I want to add a few here.
No, it was simply I couldn't see.
Yes, I understand. But as you know, I put them where I feel it's a good idea. Right. Now that is drying out quite nicely. So I want to differentiate some bits in there. So I'll make some more of that dark green. I think I'm going to make it a bit thicker this time. It was nice and thick there. It's gone a bit pasty there, which is good, fine. It's, you know, underpainting is not a bad thought. Notice I'm twisting the brush in the paint to get the paint to go into the hairs of the brush. So dabbing it on the top doesn't work. You've got to collect as much pigment as you can within the bristles, not the bristles, the hairs of the thing. Now, if I start over here and try to think in terms of shapes a bit more, still damp in places, but I'm suggesting that there are, if you like, leaf shapes, or without defining them too much. I'm just rolling the brush around in my hand and I'm not actually trying to make shapes that are too well defined. Just enough to suggest there's something interesting happening up there. It's all how you, depends on how you hold your mouth. No, pick up the purple more strongly. You should work the paint in the palette because what you're picking up is pigment and gum arabic and water. What you want is to work the gum arabic into the pigment so that when the paint dries out, the gum arabic sticks the pigment to the page and the water disappears. That's the secret of watercolor, so they tell me. Right. There aren't any up there. No, he doesn't need any up there. That's fine. Okay. I don't know if that is now dry enough to put in that. We'll see. It's actually a sort of greenery, yellowy sort of color, isn't it? So if I pick up as much of that aureolin as I can, make it as light as I can. Well, this might not work. Okay. Now what I want is a crisp edge, and I don't think I'm going to get it. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Right, now, that needs to be modified a bit. So what am I going to use? I think I'll use the purple this time. If you mix purple with yellow, you get nice brown color. And I want this to be dirtied off a bit. So I'm just using the neat paint there just to put a few shadows in this. So that it doesn't stand out too clearly. I think I could probably do with making some of those areas around there a bit darker to make that branch stand out a bit better. So again, thicker paint, because I don't want it to move. Right, okay, that's nearly blue, so that will do fine. There's a dark area under here, really dark. She's actually defining. That comes down to there. So it's going off into the darkness there. It's a bit wet here, which is not helping. What I'm trying to do is to produce that, some of that underneath here, so that it looks like it goes behind. I might have to revisit this bit. As it's drying out, I'm getting more defined shapes in places. And I think down rather than up, it might help. What's happening here? Something here. This is practically neat blue that I'm using here. And so now I want right. Now if I come on the other side of that line, have I got time? Time, Rachel. Right. D'accord. Okay, so we go back to the previous dispensation and put down clean water. Now I'm going to leave the branch as dry paper. I can put that in later if necessary. So I'm coming from here and I'm coming down here too. I've gone over the paint a bit with the water there so that I can I don't want to get too excited back here because this middle bit is a different dispensation. I just want to introduce as much background as I can. Without, so I'm taking the water beyond where I want to work, but that's to let it sort of fade off so that I don't get strong lines because I passed my mark that was the dividing line. Whoops. Well, it doesn't matter the color of the water I use for that, does it? Right, let's see if we can. One, tease it down to there. There are bits around here too. I can. I'm not drawing with the brush. That's one of the things to appreciate. Making marks with the brush, certainly. But I'm trying not to draw with a brush if at all possible. Right, so we can go back now and drop in some more of our aureolin color. Because the next thing I did was to introduce the brighter greens. So we're doing the same, precisely the same sort of thing. Anything that breaks that line is probably going to help. But it's the post that holds the pergola up, you know, it's a bit difficult to ignore it, yes. So you've got to do something. All right. Succeeded. Now try. That's better. See, you can do it if you want. This bright green is quite near the flowers, so that's rather nice, isn't it? Helps to define him a little bit. And it can be over here and here. So it's still wet. Thank you. And asking for other marks. If by any chance it looks as if you're going to have a hard edge, just introduce some more water around the edge so that it's got something to bleed into, so the edge becomes less defined. I'm not worried about that one so much because there are things coming over there. So that's just giving it, I don't want to paint in there because that's this bit here, which is more foreground. And what I'm trying to introduce there is background. Oof, gosh. Right, so come on, dry out a bit. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'll just make thicker paint. The thicker you make it, the less it runs. The more pigment you've got in, the less it runs. There's already water on the page. I don't want to add to the water if I can avoid it. So by making the paint thicker, that is more pigment, less water, I'm making the paint I put on next less liable to charge all over the page, like the first lot did. So I'm looking now to see if I can define shapes a bit more. I don't think that's blue enough. Like I say, anything that breaks up that line is going to be good. I can come back down here now, can't I? Right, this is not going to work. It's not going to be dry enough. Still, we can. I can play, yes. Just have a game. All you're doing is filling in for. I can always go back when I come back to it. It's still a bit. It's just too wet at the moment to do anything to. So still, I can show you what has happened. Right, so we're getting the rest of our picture in, but it's so blurred, it's not taking away from him. No. And this bit down here, this isn't finished. It needs more darks in it. And of course, this area hasn't been dressed, but this is foreground. If you look at the picture, this is foreground here. This is the bit I haven't done. So this has to be much more precise and more defined, same as him, so that it appears that he and them, these bits are in the same plane. And a few more darks in here will give that push-pull. Dark against light, light against dark. This is the mantra of my guru, who is Hazel Soane. You all know that, right? So there we are. So that's what I was trying to go. Even here, you see, I've got dark against light, light against dark. And if when it dries, it looks a bit stupid, I can just put a bit more paint in it. You know, just make it look a bit more real. But there we are. I think that's probably as far as I ought to go for Falklands.